Welcome to ConnectFX 2017. My name's Trent Derr. I'm the president and CEO of LiquidFrameworks, and I'm thrilled to have all of you here. First, I'd like to start the conference by not only welcoming you, but thanking you. One of the most important things we do every year is gather all our customers together to let you share your experiences and share your successes. And I'm very appreciative of your willingness to spend the time and share your ideas and share your thoughts, and as I said, share your successes with each other, because that's one of the best ways that we add value to our customers, is let you add value to each other. We always like to put up a safe harbor slide as part of the conference, and the intent is this. Although most of the things you're going to see at the conference, most of the functionality, most of the capabilities are in the current version of the software, there are some things that you see that are currently under development. So you won't be able to readily go out and do all that you see at home. Most of what you see you can. But since some of these things are under development, we always have a safe harbor slide to make you aware of that, and that's the purpose of the safe harbor slide. So building on the core, one of the key focuses of this conference is for you to get more value out of the investment that you've already made in FieldFX. And so you'll see this theme that'll permeate the keynotes that we have today and all the sessions that you go through, and that is how to continue to get more value. So our objective as LiquidFrameworks with FieldFX is to make it an enabler to increase your business value every single year that you're using the application. And we have to do that in several ways. Number one, to improve the capabilities of the software, the functionality, what it actually does. And we get all those ideas from you, we work through those, they make their way onto the product roadmap. Next, usability. We're highly conscious of the fact that you only get value from the functionality that's in the software if your end users adopt it and your end users use it. And so we're always looking for new ways to make the product easier to adopt, easier especially for the field users to use. One of the big themes you'll see in the conference this year is Sync 4.0, our new synchronization engine that was specifically designed to speed up the field users' work and to make it easier to do what they do. And you'll see along with that Sync 4.0 isn't just synchronization, there's a lot of functionality that comes along with that. Flexibility. We're highly aware that the most important thing we can do with each feature that we build into the software is make it so that you can adapt it to the way your company works, not that you have to adapt your company to the way our software works. So we're always looking for new ways to make the product more flexible and agile. And then finally, extensibility. Every single one of you is unique. Every single one of you, your companies do things a little bit different. You have different strategic initiatives, different intent, even if you're delivering similar type services. So we have to make our product highly extensible so that you can do things that maybe we hadn't even originally designed the software to do. So we're always looking for extensibility. So those are all the ways that we're constantly looking to add value to you every single year. As part of that, we've come up with the Value Realization Roadmap. And what this is a roadmap so that implementing FieldFX and getting value from FieldFX isn't intended to be a one-time event. It's intended to be an ongoing event. And based upon our 10 years of experience of customers using the FieldFX platform, we've noticed that customers tend to go through certain stages of adoption in their use of the functionality, in the benefits that they get. So we've put together this roadmap so that you can see the stages that your companies will go through. What you'll notice is not all customers will move at the same pace, not all customers will get the same value, but over time they'll tend to go through these types of stages, not necessarily linearly, but you'll see as we walk through them. As part of this, we've kind of classified that customers tend to, at each stage, have certain traits. What characteristics do you have? Also, there will be certain capabilities that you're using. What parts of the software are you using at each time? And then finally, what benefits are you receiving, or what is the output? What is the business case? What are you getting out of it? So in the beginning, our customers tend to all be in the same place, and that is ad hoc. You're using manual field systems. So what are the traits that you're typically having at that stage? Well, number one, there's something that we call the 3 R's, and it's not the 3 R's we're used to. It's not reading, writing, and arithmetic, but it's rekeying, review, and rework. there's also a state of what we call tribal knowledge. Instead of being formal kind of knowledge management and information sharing, it tends to be more verbal and information passed from person to person. So Bob tells Stan, Stan tells Becky something slightly different. So everything's kind of communicated more verbally instead of through more formal knowledge management. And what capabilities do you have? You're using paper-based processes and maybe in some cases spreadsheets. And the benefits aren't so much benefits, they're more exposures. So at this stage, you typically have a lot of revenue leakage, and you tend to have long days sales outstanding. So most of us can go, yep, been there, done that, maybe not only in your current company, but other companies, right? So here's where the value realization roadmap comes in. When you start to use FieldFX, here's the phases or stages that we typically see customers going through. And the first stage is transactional. The transactional stage is really about efficiency, just the efficiency of using an electronic system. The next stage you go through is emerging. And the emerging stage is the second stage, is really about standardization, how you're starting to standardize your forms, your reports, your workflows. The third stage, now you're at integrated, and integrated is about end-to-end processing in FieldFX, the full quote-to-cash cycle. Adaptive is where your organization has started to become more scalable, more responsive to change, more agile and adaptive to change over time. And then the fifth stage is optimized, and the optimized stage is all about operational excellence. It's about operational excellence in the back office, about operational excellence out in the field. So with that as kind of a high-level framework, let's talk about these in a little more detail. So the transactional phase, we kind of look at this as the core, because all of our customers in the beginning, for each of you, you had some scope that you originally implemented in your first project. So for you, that's your initial core. But at a base level, where we've seen kind of the starting point across the customer base is this level that starts to establish just base data efficiency, because now you're using electronic systems. So the traits you have is you've replaced your paper field tickets with electronic tickets. You also now have price books that comply with your contracts with your customers. At the next step up, as you look at these capabilities, of course you've implemented e-ticketing and you're doing basic reporting in the system. And you've started to get your initial benefits. So from your initial benefits, you basically have reduced revenue leakage, and you've had an initial impact on your days sales outstanding. So that's kind of a base level where we see customers starting. The next level, second level, is emerging, and emerging is all about standardization. So at this stage, you've now eliminated all the paper out in the field. Not just paper field tickets, but all of your other forms, whether they're JSA forms, other safety forms, quality forms, meeting forms, other forms that may be required by the operators, you've replaced all of those. You've also standardized your reports, you've standardized your workflows, and your forms overall across the organization. From a capability standpoint, you've now actually started to use schedule and dispatch and quoting in FieldFX, and you've also started to use FX forms. And as I mentioned, that's how you replace your paper forms with electronic forms. From a benefits perspective, you've now started to get the benefits of improved resource utilization, and you've seen a further increase in your overall revenue capture. At the integrated stage, or the third stage, this is all about end-to-end processing. So now you're doing the full quote-to-cash cycle, starting in FieldFX, going all the way through your ERP system. In addition, you've given your customers online access, so now they can see their field tickets, they can see other information about their jobs, and any other information that you've opened up to be available to them. So at this stage, what capabilities are you using? Well, you're now at a stage where you can do customer self-service, and you can add enterprise asset management. From a benefits standpoint, some of the advantages you're starting to get at this stage is you've had a dramatic improvement in DSO, because you're integrated not only full quote to cash all the way through FieldFX, but you're also integrated all the way into your back office. Also, you're improving your resource utilization, and you're seeing equipment safety go up along with equipment reliability because you're using enterprise asset management. At the adaptive stage, You're really about being responsive and scalable across your whole organization. So from a trait standpoint, you're able to do proactive decision making with rules that are actually driving your quotes, driving your tickets, and ultimately impacting your invoices. From that standpoint, the capabilities that you're typically using and adding at this stage are configure, price, quote. You're also doing exception-based workflows, and you're doing advanced analytics because you have so much more data in the system that now doing more sophisticated analytics are a lot more meaningful than they were in earlier stages. So what benefits are you receiving at this stage is you've actually started to maximize your revenue capture because you're able to conquer and get opportunities that before you weren't even capable of capturing. And also you're able to have more intelligent use of the resources that you have, and you're utilizing both your people, your equipment, and all your tools in a more optimal way. So then you move to the optimized stage, and the optimized stage is all about operational excellence, both in the field and in the back office. And this is one of the major focuses of our product roadmap moving forward. And as you hear the upcoming keynote from Travis, you'll hear a lot about these capabilities that we're working on adding to FieldFX. So from the standpoint of the traits that you typically have at this stage, is now you're at a stage in which you can let FieldFX make routine decisions for you. And to the extent that you have more complex decisions, the system won't only offer you alternatives that actually comply with your requirements of, for instance, your contracts, but they're actually optimal alternatives based upon the conditions that you're dealing with at the plant, out in the field or the well, to match the environment and also give you a true optimal alternative. And that's because the capabilities that you're adding at this stage include artificial intelligence and machine learning. It also includes optimization algorithms. And you're adding predictive analytics, which is the further advancement of the advanced analytics. So the benefits that you're receiving now is you're really receiving optimal routing out in the field. When you have a sequence of jobs, the system's suggesting to you the optimal routing of those to occur for the most efficiency. It's also recommending not just a resource that meets all the requirements of the job or the work that you're doing, but the optimal resource based upon historical preferences. It's also improving the way you're doing bundled pricing and even discounting. Today, if you want to put together a pricing bundle in the system, you can do that. You can define it ahead of time and use it. In the optimized stage, the system looks at your historical information based upon the quotes you've made, the quotes you've won, the business you've lost, the other work that you've delivered, and proposes bundles to you as you're doing quotes, as you're doing tickets. It also is doing the same thing for discounting. It's look at your historic discounting of business you've won and lost, and it's suggesting how you might discount in this situation to not only win the business, but also make the most money. So how do you actually capture this value? The way you capture this value is much the same way that you initially implemented FieldFX. And it requires executive support. You need executive support, and you basically need a business case. What are you trying to do, and what benefits are you trying to get from it? Also, you need a project plan. One of the challenges we've seen with some customers over time is their initial project tends to be very structured, and then their subsequent projects tend to be a little looser, a little spongier. And we found that those customers that treat their follow-on additional functionality that they're adding with the same rigor as they did their initial project tend to get more benefit, and definitely get more benefit faster. Allocated resources. Well, it makes sense from a project plan. In order to achieve a project plan and a timeline, you need to allocate people and time to that, right? And then finally, change management. You always have to be sensitive to the readiness of your organization, how easily your organization adopts change. And as I mentioned in the beginning, not all customers are going to move at the same rate. Not all customers are going to get the same value. So by doing this, though, with FieldFX, doing this approach over time and going through these various stages, instead of having a one-time event with one-time benefit, is now you get the benefits of continuous improvement as you're constantly getting more and more out of FieldFX. And to learn more about getting additional value from FieldFX, let's launch into ConnectFX 2017.